As a full-time remote software developer and hobbyist video creator, having a clean and functional space is really important to me. Spending 12 plus hours in this room each day, every day, means even slight improvements to the look or feel can have a big impact on mood as well as productivity. I think I've come up with a pretty good system and aesthetic, so just stay tuned for my product recommendations and organization tricks. Beginning with the room itself, the office isn't exactly a rectangle, as the wall closest to the street slants outwards. So, the longest wall, which has the TV and the pegboard on it, is 3.5 meters long, and the opposite wall is 2.9 meters long, and the room is 3.2 meters long. Across these two sides, I've got floor-to-ceiling windows, which is really great for natural light, but not so great for acoustics. The ceiling comes in at 2.4 meters tall, which is probably some kind of minimum standard, but it was just tall enough for me to install a fan from Bunnings and some acoustic clouds from Verbox Acoustics here in Melbourne. Moving right as we enter the room, I've got these two massive floor-to-ceiling mirrors, which can slide open, revealing the built-in wardrobe. On this right-hand side of the cupboard, I've installed a shelf up the top here to add some additional storage for drill bits and cable management sets. What I've done is added an Ikea center light here, which turns on when you open the cupboard, which is a really nice quality of life improvement. Underneath that, I've got an Ikea Skadis pegboard with a whole bunch of accessories for keeping some of the frequently used tools easily accessible. Despite living in a 2-bedroom apartment, I surprisingly use these quite a lot, and it's really handy to be able to grab the drill or the hammer without rummaging around in a toolbox or something like that. I've also here got a Dyson V10 and all the accessories mounted on the wall here, which is equally as handy to access and quickly charge. I love being able to quickly grab it to clean up the kitchen scraps or dirt that I brought in from outside. Underneath the pegboard, I've got this toolkit that I've laid flat, so I can see all the tools and once again, quickly grab anything if I need it. I've thought about a better solution for this, but honestly it works pretty well, and the case means that everything or every tool has its spot. This is sitting on top of some white Ikea Kallax drawers, which is where I keep a lot of my cables and other tech accessories, sorted into different functions as you go down the drawers. Also in this cupboard is where the fibre to the premise comes in and gets distributed across the apartment. I'm super grateful that I'm able to get 1000 megabits per second download speed in Australia, which is notorious for having terrible internet. On the left-hand side, I don't have a light installed, but I've got this white Ikea Kallax bookshelf to store mostly some more tech equipment, but also some books down the bottom. This is where I keep the teleprompter, some Bluetooth speakers, spare keyboards, and some audio equipment like this microphone. Along the wall though is where I think I've done something super cool. For filming these videos, I have 3 Apurture Amaran H528 LED panels, and I have some random cheap light stands, which I only use just for the lights. Before I lived here, it used to be a massive pain to set up these lights and then pack them away every time I wanted to create a video. In fact, I actually found myself putting off making these videos because I really just couldn't be bothered to set up the camera equipment, the lighting, the audio, etc. So I purchased a Store Ease Smart Tracks from Bunnings, which is a hardware store here in Australia, and a couple of these dual L hooks. These are actually designed for like rakes and brooms and things like that in your garage, but I've repurposed them to hold my LED panels with the light stand attached. I then routed 2 power cables for the lights up to where they hang, so I can constantly keep them charged up and ready to use whenever I feel like filming. In the same power board as the lights that the lights are plugged into, I also have 2 Panasonic Eneloop battery chargers, which I use to charge AA batteries for my audio recorder and wireless microphones. Further down, I have a sticky hook for a cheap monopod, which I sometimes use, and then another old tripod, which can be useful if my main tripod is otherwise predisposed. I also have another one of these sticky hooks at the back for holding the microphone stand, which I leave both the microphone and the cable attached to for ease of setup. Personally, I think this whole cupboard is pretty neat, and it means that I can pull out the equipment and have it set up in seconds as opposed to minutes. And every barrier I remove to getting filming increases the chances of me actually filming something. Moving along the back wall, I've got another Skadis pegboard. Well, actually 2 of them stacked on top of each other. This is where I keep the majority of the camera equipment that I use on a regular basis. And it also creates an interesting talking point when I have it in the background of Zoom calls. I like to have all my different chargers available here, so when I need a particular battery, I don't need to spend 10 minutes trying to find the charger for that battery and then wait another hour for it to be charged. Across this pegboard, I've also got a Macbook Pro drone at the top with its charger and controller, a Xeon Crane 2 gimbal, a Manfrotto Pixie, and a new ear camera slider. The focal point is the Lometric Time smart clock, which I've configured to show my YouTube subscriber counter, but you can also get it to show like stocks, the time, the weather, or even sports scores. In the middle, I've got my Panasonic GH5 Micro Four Thirds lenses, which are the kit 12 to 35 and 35 to 100mm lenses, as well as an ultra-wide Olympus 7 to 14mm lens and a Panasonic 25mm prime. If you're interested in a full comparison between all those lenses, please leave a comment. Continuing left, I've got an Ikea shelf at the top with a few knickknacks, and then a 55-inch 4K Hisense TV underneath. This used to be our living room TV until we got an LG BX 65-inch OLED, and I occasionally use this for watching videos or playing PlayStation. It's literally directly behind where I sit at the desk, so it doesn't really get as much use as I'd like. Underneath the TV, I've got two Ikea BROR kitchen trolleys. These were deeper than I expected, but I used them to store my bags, my Manfrotto monopod, and some other random items. What we did was actually cut down and installed our own wooden tabletops on these, after I experimented with black tabletops and found they didn't really look that great. I've also got some small plants on these trolleys, which add some greenery to the room and also look nice in the background of Zoom calls. Finally, I've got the Nano leaf canvas in a kind of W shape over there, which looks pretty cool with all the lights off. Swinging around to the other side of the room is the desk where I spend most of my time. I've got a ZenSpace desk stand-up frame kit with an Ikea Karlby tabletop. The Karlby measures in at 186cm long by 63.5cm deep and is finished in a walnut veneer. Luckily, even with its huge length, it still fits into the room with the door open, and the length is great for fitting two Dell U3219Qs, which are 32-inch 4K IPS panels. And you can check out that full review by clicking up here. The monitors are mounted on a dual monitor arm from Amazon, and the laptop is also mounted on a monitor arm but with a laptop holder connected via the Visa mount. The monitors are plugged into a Kensington SD 5700T Thunderbolt 4 dock, which I got so I could use just one Thunderbolt cable to connect both the two displays, microphone, webcam, and also charge my laptop. Speaking of laptop, I use a 16-inch 2019 MacBook Pro for work, which has a Core i9 processor, 64 gigs of RAM, and for personal use I've got a 13-inch M1 MacBook Air. This is the cheapest configuration of M1 laptop that you can get, and it absolutely flies through everything I throw at it, including 4K video editing. Some other accessories that I've got on my desk include the Swan M10 speakers, a wireless phone charger, the Apple Magic Keyboard, and the Logitech MX Master 3 mouse. I actually normally have my Panasonic GH5 on the Elgato multi-mount, which I plug in via USB-C to the dock to use as a webcam, but I'm currently filming with this now. I think this is pretty good use of my camera when I'm otherwise not using it throughout the day. I also have the Rode NT USB microphone on a generic arm that I got off eBay. To round out the room, a quick shout out to the two LIFX 100mm downlights I have, which allow me to set the room to all different colors using either my voice, the app, or the LIFX switch. Watch that full review in the top right hand corner up here as well. Overall, I'm really happy with how I've laid out the whole room. Both the two trolleys and the desk are on wheels, so I'm able to move them around and everything else is wall mounted. This allows for maximum flexibility when filming or even just when I want a change of scenery. I've actually also got my tripod on a set of wheels so I can easily move that around too, like for this video. I can't think of anything I'd change at the moment with this setup. I've gone through a lot of different permutations of room setups across the years, trying to optimize for productivity, and I think I found a great balance. I've got professional audio and video for Zoom calls, and it's very quick for me to move the camera to the tripod, set up some lights and a microphone, and start filming. But if you've got any ideas of further enhancements, or if you've picked up any ideas yourself, please let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.